All right, ladies and gentlemen, it does appear that Honkai Star Rail, specifically version 3.0, is having some problems. And I think the biggest problem that is currently occurring for the game at the moment is with its community. You could say that these individuals playing this game that have invested thousands, if not tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, are a little bit upset with the storytelling quality that's in the game. For a lot of players, right, they expected that version 3.0, they expected that Amphorius was going to be a tonal shift in how the story was going to be portrayed. A lot of people were undoubtedly scarred, maybe Ryuku Sensei in particular, with the storytelling that happened, where you would have a bunch of static animations, a lot of indications of very low quality on both the implementation and the budgeting side that basically made the story experience really painful. And as you can see over here, this post has about 7,000 upvotes on the main subreddit, the official one that is sponsored by Hoyoverse themselves. And as you can see over here, it's in the top 1%, almost has 1 million members, 1,000 current users active. And this is the top post. I don't know how Hoyo does it, but man, they've been spoiling us with these character animations during dialogue. 3 poses. One where they're basically their idle animation in the game, one where they bring their hand to their heart, and then one where they cross their arms. If you've been familiar with Amphorius, and I've got some of the receipts over here, you can literally see it happening right now. Dan Heng is crossing his arms, and you've got the Trailblazer over here with their arms down. There are multiple examples of this every single place in the story. And when you compare it to games that are also under the Hoyoverse umbrella, and games that are quite literally older than Star Rail, like Honkai Impact 3, it's a little bit discerning, or it's a little bit concerning, because when you also factor in that these games like Genshin and Honkai Impact 3 are willing to put in unique animations for things like Silali touching the forehead of the traveler, even going so far, I know this is crazy over here that I'm even suggesting this, even going so far as to wrap her hands around the back of his head and then touching the foreheads together. And then you have this scene over here in Honkai Impact 3 with Thelema, and I believe this is Coraline or Coralie. Thelema is kind of pressing her against the wall. These are both incredibly unique rigging, right? These are animations that don't really exist anywhere else in the game, but they're deciding to allocate budget and manpower and modeling work into actually implementing these to make the storytelling much more of a positive experience, right? To let players actually know what's going on, to have more of that show instead of the tell. And what we get in Honkai Star Rail, a game that makes far more money than Honkai Impact 3, right? Has a way, should, and I'm not sure if it does, but it should have a much bigger budget. You get this. Black Swan presses her forehead against March 7th's head, as if feeling the latter's body temperature. This is what you get for Honkai Impact 3. This is what you get. A black screen, white text dialogue for something that they have literally done in their other games. Something that they've clearly shown these games run on the same engine, Unity. But this is the thing. How is this happening? How is a game that we know for a fact makes potentially more than 1 billion, at least a couple of millions, like hundreds of millions every year, just from mobile revenue, is not able to do the bare minimum in this situation? They literally cannot do the bare minimum in this situation. And people are pissed. People are upset. You even have ZZ. Okay, I don't want to look at that from ZZZ, but you know what I'm talking about when it comes to that game. People are upset. You have posts like this getting thousands of upvotes in the main subreddit. And the realization that people are having is that Hoyoverse is making all of these games. They're making all of them. And it turns out that Honkai Star Rail, for some odd reason, despite making some of the most money for their overall portfolio in terms of revenue, is getting the red-headed stepchild treatment. They are literally getting nothing in terms of effort. And when in versions like 2.7, in versions like 2.6, where you know it's heading towards the tail end, right? That people are being reallocated. They're maybe working with like a smaller team while the rest of the, the big shots work on Amphorius in 3.0. When you're seeing low quality storytelling in 2.6 and 2.7, and then in 3.0, you see the exact same goddamn thing. A picture of a JPEG and then a dialogue that lasts for 5 minutes. The exact one that you had with Aglaia. A goddamn dialogue that lasts for 5 minutes. Instead of like maybe just modeling the fact that she bound our finger. I don't think it would have been that hard. Why? Why is this happening when you have this in the other games? Why? Why are the devs so fucking lazy? Why are the devs refusing to improve their game? You could use the excuse, right, that, oh, they're making so much money already. Why would they put in more effort, right, when they don't really need to? Genshin did it. Genshin didn't have animations like this before 5.0. They didn't put that much work into the storytelling. They're still making a fuck ton of money. So why did Genshin and the Genshin devs do it? Maybe this is what Dwayne meant when he was crying earlier on in 2024. Maybe he actually was telling the truth. They legitimately did make the game better. And I think Dwayne may cry for Honkai Star Rail now. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Dwayne must cry for the games to actually genuinely get better, because this is good. People like this. It helped the storytelling, it helped the story advance, and it made people feel more connected to the cast of characters. But the fucking Star Rail devs, or the budget is so bad that they're not able to show two foreheads touching. Two foreheads touching was too difficult to model, that you had to use a black screen. And this happens so goddamn often in the story quest that people are just sick and tired of it. It's a 10 to 11 to 13 hour story quest depending on how long you let the fucking dialogue play, and this happens so many times. And when you're bloating the dialogue, you're bloating the story to the point where it's 10 hours long, and you're being this lazy with all of it, it just screams. Yes, you're looking to draw analytics. You're looking to increase playtime through low-quality garbage instead of just making a concise or even like shortened version of the story that's just higher quality in the first place. And people literally feel like their time is being actively wasted by the devs with shitty storytelling. It's the longest story quest the game has ever had, and it also has the most black screens the game has ever had. This is literally simply an equation of quality is less than quantity. These devs value quantity way more than quality, and this is the end result. And you want to know the really funny thing? There's this video over here from Twitter that shows exactly what Wuwa would look like if it employed Honkai Star Rail's method of storytelling. So let's go ahead and give it a quick look. So this is the scene in 1.1. All right, here we go.
Rover, who's bullying you?
Engaging, isn't it? Isn't this engaging? Wow. Really takes you out of the scene, doesn't it? Really feels great watching that. I'm totally super engaged with the storytelling. This was a wonderful experience. This is what happens in Honkai Star Rail. The devs just decided not to animate things that were pretty goddamn simple to animate. And instead, it's now become a meme. It's now become a meme to copy this format of just the black screen with white text to just talk about gacha games in general. And how does a meme happen? When you see something so often that's like either so cringe or so bad that it's worth referencing all the time. And when you have a 10-hour story quest where a majority of the storytelling is literally this for moments that don't need to be, it becomes a meme. It's literally become a meme. And then these are just some of the comments from the subreddit, the highlights. And you want to know what they're doing when it came to that post that we originally saw? I always thought it was a resource problem, right? Low budget. But Wuwa proved that even with less money and resources, you can give dialogue scenes much more animations to make the characters feel more human. Wow, isn't this a little bit embarrassing? Animations can be blamed on lack of resources, but Wuwa straight up has way better camera cinematography. They do dynamic angles so much more to the point of being excessive sometimes. There's some really insanely good framing and shots, and it happens so often. It's not even like HSR doesn't know how to do it. 2.0 had some really memorable shots. It's just done so sparely now, and half the time, we're looking at a boring medium or medium half shot. I started playing Wuwa on 2.0, and I was very surprised with how many character movements there were, and all were unique. I just hope they put more effort into that sort of thing in HSR. It would be very nice. There are two opposing forces here when it comes to HSR. You have the rampant power creep that's influencing people to pull on banners just to be able to keep up with the pace of the game. And then you have the devs being lazy as fuck when it comes to storytelling like this. Who's gonna win here? Because it's gonna be very easy to see things like revenue going up because the newest character character is just the best one in the game, and then use that as an example of how the game is actually completely fine, how there doesn't need to be any effort placed into things like this. And that's where a lot of conflict is going to arise. This game is in such a dangerous state at the moment where the quality is actively going down, or at its best, staying stagnant across multiple years of development, and people are having all of these outside influences to pull on banners, right? You had the exploration quality of life and the power creep in that land, and now you have the power creep in Star Rail and the necessity to pull characters to even like play the baseline endgame in the first place. And so this game is in such a dangerous position at the moment. I'm going to pull up something that people don't like. We're going to look up Google Trends, and we're going to look at Japan, one of the biggest markets for this game. This is over the past 90 days. Actually, let's put it down to 30 days. The peak of version 3.0 in Japan, one of its biggest markets, was a 59. The peak of Zenless Zone 0 for its 1.5 trailer was 75, and the peak of Wuthering Waves 2.0 was 100. Let's extend it out to 90 days. This is Honkai Star Rail's biggest peak in the region. Let's extend it out even further. Let's do the past 12 months. This is where 3.0 is at a 22. The game was at a 22 in the middle of Penacony. In the middle of Penacony, when Firefly released. Penacony. And this is the reception of its 3.0 version. It's been several days. This game, people don't like it. They don't like this version. And the fact of the matter is, it could be a combination of things like rampant power creep. It could be the combination of, maybe the character design's not hitting. Or it could be simply the fact that nobody actually likes playing the game. It could be the fact that nobody actually likes playing the fucking game. And if you're a player of this game, the best way you can actually make it better is to quit it. Is to stop playing it, is to no longer renew your subscription, don't buy the battle pass, don't even go free to play. Just quit the fucking game. Because you want to know what happened to another game that happened to? Zenless Zone 0? People quit that game. And then they released patch 1.4 and made every single thing in the game better. They made every single thing in the game better. If you genuinely want Honkai Star Rail to succeed, quit the game. Show these developers that laziness, that garbage like this is genuinely not acceptable in the space. When every other game under their umbrella is doing a better job, they make this much money and they're gonna fucking do this to you. They don't respect you as a consumer at this point. Literally every other game in the gacha space that has this level of budget or reach is doing a better job. And they're doing this, where they can't even animate two fucking foreheads touching. It's disgusting. Let's be honest here. And when a game like Genshin Impact that's older and that's on an older version of the engine that has had 3 years to run before Honkai Star Rail was even released is doing a better job. You're basically getting spat on in the face. And if you continue to play, if you continue to spend money, you're literally just supporting this behavior. You should be praying that Amphorius's banners and revenue are the lowest that the game has ever seen. You should be praying for that. And then finally, something will light an actual fire under these fucking devs to do a proper job, because this is disgusting. They've been basically pushing banners, pushing characters through power creep instead of actual good design. And now they're just phoning it in with a story, with a 10-hour, 11, 12-hour story that just spits in your face the entire time with garbage like this. Dewey might cry. Dewey may cry again. And he might have to for these devs to actually get off their ass and do a proper fucking job. And remember when I was saying months and months ago that a skip button wasn't a bad thing to put into the game? That a skip button was something that puts more responsibility on the developers to actually craft a good storytelling experience. Otherwise, people are going to skip it. Guess what Honkai Impact 3 has? Honkai Impact 3 has a fucking skip button. And you know what that means? They have more incentive to actually put effort into their animations, put effort into the storytelling so that viewers don't actually skip it in the first place. Remember when I said that? And now you're getting this shit shoveled down your throat in Amphorius for 10 hours, 11, 12 hours? Imagine if they put a skip button in this story. I'm pretty sure they put at least a little bit more fucking effort into the storytelling, because if it was dog shit like this, every goddamn person playing this game would have skipped right through the garbage. And guess what? They don't want people to skip the story. They want people to pull the characters. They want people to feel engaged. And that would have meant that they'd have to put more actual effort into making this palatable for the entire audience, not these bullshit black screens that just show laziness and lack of effort. So yeah, a skip button is actually a pretty goddamn good thing. And you should be begging for this feature to be added to Honkai Star Rail if this is the garbage that you're gonna get. Because they'll see the stats, they'll see how often people skip the bullshit 3.0 story, and they'll be like, damn, maybe we should actually make it watchable. Maybe we should actually make it not a completely painful fucking experience in the first place. Maybe we should put a little bit more effort in and fix this game. But no, keep denying that a skip button should be put in. Keep denying a skip button and keep eating this garbage if you don't support a skip button. Let me know what you all think. Let me know if this hate, if this level of response, if the 7,000 upvotes, right, that we're seeing for posts like this are warranted, because this community is on fire and the reason and the blame solely lies with these developers. Let me know what you all think. Peace out.